challenge, I had a shared variable called score and had 3 sprites each change the score value in different ways. Understanding the differences between shared and private variables is very important. This example will first create a shared variable called times clicked that will have the number of times the sprites have been clicked on. Then I'll change the program to also have each sprite keep its own count of how many times it's been clicked on. I'll need to create the times clicked variable. Go to Data, make a variable. I'll enter times clicked, keep it for all sprites. OK. Now I have the times clicked variable. It's available for all sprites, even though I have only one sprite right now. I need to initialize it, set it to 0. I'll also want to change the value. Go to Events. When the green flag is clicked on, times clicked will be set to 0. When the sprite is clicked on, it'll change times clicked by 1. I'll test it now. I'll click on the green flag. Times clicked is 0 as it was. I'll click on the cat. Times clicked is 1. Click on the cat again. Times clicked is 2. It's working nicely. If I click on the green flag, the count should be cleared. I'll click on it. Times clicked is 0 now. Program's working nicely. I'll go to my diagram to show what's next. So far in the program, I have the cat sprite with its own scripts, costumes, and sounds, and I created the global variable times clicked. Remember that times clicked is for all sprites. I also added that when the sprite's clicked on, times clicked is increased by 1. And I'm not showing it, but when the green flag's clicked on, times clicked is set to 0. Next, I want to create a couple more sprites. I'll create the starfish sprite with its own scripts, costumes, and sounds. And when the starfish is clicked on, times clicked will be increased by 1. I'll also create a balloon sprite, and when it's clicked on, times clicked will be increased by 1. Now all the sprites will add 1 to times clicked when they're clicked on. I'll go back to Scratch and create the 2 sprites now. First I'll create the starfish, go to New Sprite, scroll down, double-click on the starfish, move it over. When the sprite's clicked on, I need to increase times clicked by 1. I could get the command blocks from the palettes, but sometimes it can be easier to copy it from another sprite. I'll drag and drop when this sprite clicked command blocks onto the starfish. The original blocks were placed back on the cat script area. I'll go to the starfish now, and the starfish has when this sprite clicked, times clicked is changed by 1. Now to create my balloon sprite, New Sprite, scroll down, double-click on balloon, drag it to the right side of the stage. I'll copy the sprite clicked handler from the starfish onto the balloon. Drag and drop. And the original's back on the starfish's script area. Go to the balloon, and the balloon has the same event handler too. Now I'll run the program. Click on the green flag. Times clicked is 0, but it was before. I'll click on the starfish. Times clicked is 1. Click again. Times clicked is 2. I'll click on the cat once, it's 3. And again, times clicked is 4. 2 clicks on the balloon. Times clicked is 5 and 6. 6 clicks and they're all counted. This is working nicely. I'll go back to my diagram to show what's next. First I'll show what happened when I ran the program. When I clicked on the green flag, times click was set to 0. When I clicked on the starfish, when the sprite clicked, increased times clicked by 1. 0 became 1. Clicked on the starfish again, times clicked became 2. Clicked on the cat, times clicked became 3. And again on the cat, times clicked became 4. Then clicked on the balloon, 4 became 5. Clicked on the balloon again, and times clicked became 6. Remember that all these sprites are using the same shared variable, times clicked, which was created for all sprites. Sometimes variables should be only for one sprite and not for all sprites. Sometimes a sprite needs unique data only for itself. In an earlier example, I explored the sprite size variable found in the looks palette. I was able to change the size of the sprites, and changing the size of one sprite didn't change the size of the other sprites. So each sprite has its own size variable. When the program starts, all 3 sprites are at 100%. I can use the set size command to change the size of each of the sprites. I can change the balloon size to 125%, can change the cat size to 75%, and I can change the starfish's size to 50%. Next, I'll create a unique variable for each of the sprites. For the starfish, I'll create my arms count. For the cat, my whiskers count, and for the balloon, my diameter. Each will be created for this sprite only, instead of for all sprites. To change the values, whenever the D key is pressed, my diameter will be increased by 1. Whenever the W key is pressed, my whiskers count will be increased by 1. And when the A key is pressed, my arms count will be increased by 1. Achy. My achy arms. In this program, the variable values will change, but the images of the sprites will not change. I'll go back to Scratch, show the size variables change for each of the sprites, and add the new variables. I currently have the balloons script showing. I'll go to Looks, scroll down, I'll check Size. The size variable for the balloon appears on the stage showing 100%. Notice that the variable says balloon 1 in front of it. Balloon 1 size is different from times clicked, which doesn't have the name of a sprite in front of it. That's because times clicked is for all sprites, whereas this size variable is for only the balloon. I can change the sprite size, get set size, change 100 to 125, click on set size, and the balloon's bigger. I can change the starfish's size. First I'll show its size. Starfish is at 100 as expected. The balloon's changed to 125%. The starfish is still at 100. I'll get set size. Instead of 100, I'll make it 50. Click on it. The starfish is now 50%. I'll do the same thing for the cat. Size. Bring it down. Cat's at 100%. Set size. Change the size to 75%. Click on it. The cat's at 75% size now. I'm finished with size now. What's important to remember is that each of these sprites has its own size variable. Even though the name's the same for each of the sprites, don't let that confuse you. Changing the size of one sprite doesn't affect the other sprites. Now I'll create the variables for each of the sprites. For the balloon, I'll click on Balloon, Data, Make a Variable, Create My Diameter. Only for this sprite. OK. Now the My Diameter variable exists for the balloon. I'll put it under the balloon. Needs to be initialized to 12. Change the 0 to 12. And when the D key is pressed, change My Diameter by 1. Go to Events. When the D key is pressed, scroll down, D. My Diameter will be changed by 1. When the green flag's clicked on, My Diameter will be set to 12. Go to the cat sprite, click on it, create its variable, Data, Make a Variable, My Whiskers Count. For this sprite only, OK, it's only for the cat. The cat has My Whiskers Count, and it can see times clicked, but it can't see the balloon's My Diameter. My Diameter is only for the balloon. I'll set my whiskers count to 4. And I want to change my whiskers count when the W key is pressed. Go to Events. When the W key is pressed, Menu, scroll down. When the W key is pressed, my whiskers count will be increased by 1. My whiskers count is set to 4 when the green flag's clicked. I think the cat's ready. I'll create the starfish's variable. Data, Make a Variable. My Arms Count. For this sprite only, OK. The starfish can see my arms count and times clicked, but it can't see the cat's My Whiskers Count. It can see my arms count, but the starfish can't see my diameter. Need to initialize my arms count. Change it to 5. When the A key is pressed, I want to change my arm count by 1. Go to Events. Green flag clicked. Now when the green flag's clicked on, my arms count will be set to 5. A key. And when the A key is pressed, my arms count will be increased by 1. Program's ready to run. I'll click on the green flag. My diameter's 12, my whiskers count's 4, and my arms count's 5. I'll press the D key a couple times and my diameter will increase to 13, 14. I'll press the W key a couple times and my whiskers count will go to 5 and 6. And I'll press the A key and my arms count will go to 6 and 7. If I click on the green flag again, the sprite's variables will go back to their initial values. I'll click on the green flag. My diameter is 12 again, my whiskers count is 4, and my arms count is 5. That's working nicely. I'll go back to my diagram and show what happened to the variables. When a green flag was clicked, my arms count was set to 5. Whiskers count was set to 4, and my diameter was set to 12. Pressing the D key twice changed it to 13 and 14. Pressing the W key a couple times changed the count to 5, then 6. Pressing the A key a couple times changed my arms count to 6, then 7. For the next part of this example, I want to change the program to have each sprite have its own count of how many times it's been clicked. Each sprite will have its own myClickCount variable. Don't get confused by all of them having the same name. Each myClickCount will be for its own sprite. Just as each sprite has its own size variable, each sprite will have its own myClickCount variable. Keep in mind that each of the ClickCount variables will be created for this sprite only. Each sprite will change my click count by 1 whenever the sprite is clicked on. This will be in the when this sprite clicked handler for each of the sprites. I'll go back to my program now and create the variables for each of the sprites. Go to Data, and for the cat, I'll create my click count. I'll save this in my clipboard with Control-C so I don't have to keep typing it in. For this sprite only for the cat. Okay. There's the cat's my click count. Move it down. I'll set my click count to 0 when the green flag's clicked, and when a sprite's clicked on, I'll change my click count by 1. I'll go to the starfish. The starfish doesn't have a my click count variable, only the cat does. Make a variable. Paste it with Control-V. My click count for the sprite only. OK. I'll initialize it to 0 when the green flag's clicked on, and I'll change it by 1 when the sprite's clicked on. Bring it under the starfish, and go to the balloon, create my click count, Control-V to paste it, for this sprite only, OK. Move my click count for the balloon down, set it to 0 when the green flag's clicked on, and change my click count by 1 when the sprite's clicked on. Now the program's ready to run. I'll click on the green flag. Now when I click on the starfish's my click count is 1, and the global times clicked is 1. Click on the starfish again, my click count for the starfish is 2, and times clicked is 2. Click on the cat one time, the cat's my click count is 1, and times clicked is 3. Again on the cat, times clicked is 4, and the cat's my click count is 2. 2 clicks on the balloon, 1, 2. My click count for the balloon is 2, and times clicked is 6. Program's working nicely. When I click on the green flag, the counter should be cleared. Green flag, times clicked is 0, and the 3 my click count variables are 0. Now I'll go back to my diagram to show what happened when I ran the program. When I started the program, times clicked was reinitialized to 0, and each of the my click counts were set to 0. The my arms count, my whiskers count, and my diameter were also initialized, but I'm going to focus on the click counts. I clicked on the starfish, and my click count was increased by 1, and so was times clicked. Clicked on the starfish again, times clicked was changed by 1 to become 2, and my click count for the starfish was changed by 1 to become 2. Clicked on the cat, times clicked became 3, and my click count for the cat became 1. Clicked on the cat again, times clicked became 4, my click count for the cat became 2. Clicked on the balloon, times clicked became 5, and my click count for the balloon became 1. Clicked on the balloon again, times clicked became 6, and my click count for the balloon became 2. I hope this example shows the differences in shared variables like times clicked and private variables like my click count, my diameter, my whiskers count, and my arms count. I'm finished with this example. I encourage you to play with the program and get comfortable with variables that are for all the sprites and variables that are for only one sprite. Try changing the program. Try adding more variables for all the sprites and for only one of the sprites, and use other event handlers to change the values. It's important you get comfortable with variables that are for all sprites and for only one sprite. But above all, have fun with the examples.